projects that I created for my friend Rina, and Rina is Scrapbook Fashionista here on YouTube, which most of you will not need this, but I will leave the link below just in case. But I'm sure none of you need a link to her channel. I've watched Rina's videos for a long time now, and I really love her projects. She has the most amazing, beautiful shabby style, and her Copic coloring is gorgeous, and I am just so thrilled that I get to swap with her, and I'm very excited. So when we talked about swapping, we agreed to swap just kind of like a mystery item with each other, and I told her some things that I liked, and she told me some things that she liked. Well, really, she said she'd be happy with anything, but I know that she likes banners from a hint that she dropped at one point, which is great, because it definitely gave me an idea. And so I'm just going to share with you those things that I've made for her. So the first thing I made was a card. That was one of the things we said we were going to make, was a card and then a, kind of a surprise item. So I used the Tea Time collection from Prima. I started with just a 6x6 plain cardstock, which I folded in the middle. I have a few just different squares cut out, and I just measure it on my cutter. If I know that this is a 6x6, then this is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then this is 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And I haven't written my message yet, but I have space to do that. And then on the front, I did the same thing with the first couple of layers of paper. And then these, I just cut out some different size rectangles and distressed the edges, and then I added some different stenciling here with, what am I looking for? Modeling paste. So I just used a few of the stencils I had on these projects. I used the script stencil on another project, and for this one I just had these itty bitty teeny dots. And this is a Prima mask that I've had for a long time. I'm looking for it right now. And it's this one. And it has that big flower and then some letters, but these are the teeny tiny dots that I love using. So I love using this stencil just for the teeny tiny dots. I'm sure there's a dot stencil out there, but I don't have it, so that's what I use. And I have some wild orchid craft flowers and clusters. I have a piece of vintage lace in the background. And then this image I colored with Copics, but because I'm very limited on the amount of Copics that I have, I used actually a Tattered Angels ink, and I just used a paintbrush to brush it on, and then I covered it with these clear deco beads to give it a really fun, like, to me it looks like bubbles, so I really wanted that fun, like, bubble look. And then I used some Copics for her hair, her face, of course, and the pink is also a Copic. It's just that blue that was the Tattered Angels spray. So that is the card that I created for her. The next project that I made is a box, and this one was a little bit more challenging just because of the shape, and I couldn't really trace it, so I kind of had to like cut and guess and cut and guess and just kind of eventually trial and error got the right size of the paper. Same thing with the inside. I tried measuring it, and I'll show you that in a moment, but I tried measuring it, and because of the slant, it was, again, I had to just kind of cut and then see if it worked and then cut a little more. So it was interesting, but it finally worked out. Now I believe this paper is the Vintage Emporium collection, and I don't even have the collection, but there were just 2 sheets that I happened to have, and so I used it for this because they were absolutely beautiful, and I know Rina likes, the shabby style. So that's what I wanted to do, was something really shabby with flowers and creams and whites. And I used, it's this paper here with like the flowers on it, and whatever this one was that's in the background here. For the background, I started by just adding some modeling paste with the script stencil that I have. It's a very old stencil. It's the Art Is stencil that I got a long time ago. And I have just a little tag cut out from the paper collection with a piece of fabric in it. I don't know if it's chiffon. It's not tulle. It's like a really soft fabric. I'm not sure what it is. I had it in my stash. I have a little applique back here, a few little pieces of lace, and then I have just a lot of wild orchid craft flowers. I also made some stick pins for this. I made about 5 or 6 and just kind of put them in different places using some different pink and white beads that I had in my stash. A lot of my beads were either gifted to me or they come from Joann's is normally where I purchase my beads. And Hobby Lobby, sorry, I can't forget Hobby Lobby. And I think that's all I have on the front. It's just flowers. I have some large trellis rose, some large curly wild roses. I have a cottage rose, which is a newer style that Wild Orchid Crafts is carrying. I don't have any of these in the shop yet, but I'm hoping to get those next season. There are some pretty lilies and apple blossom, and then I can't remember what these are called. Some little rosebuds, just lots of Wild Orchid Craft flowers. And then back here I just have some little lace peeking out. So when you turn to the front, I again have a little tag that I made with the paper collection. This didn't come from this paper collection. This is actually from the Julie Nutting collection. I can't remember the name of it. It's the one with the Parisian theme, like Belle Vie or something like that. But the colors matched really well with this, so I wanted to use that. And I really like the sentiment. I used some more Wild Orchid Craft flowers, just a big cluster here. I have some little pieces of lace, and then again I have a couple more stick pins. Oh, a few more stick pins. I've got 3 there. And I also have a piece of bling for my shop. The sides of the box, I just wanted to leave the paper showing, so I didn't put a whole lot. I just have the stenciling, and then on the back I have again just the paper and some stenciling, but then I have a big bow using that fabric that I had in my stash. And all around the box I have a pearl trim and then just a few different laces. And I know she likes the tiny ruffled laces, so that's what I used. And then when you open the box, I did cover the inside with paper from the collection. And again, that's the Vintage Emporium, and there were only 2 sheets from that collection that I used. But they were so beautiful. I have some little chipboard cutouts, and they're like 4 inches by 3.5 or something like that. And I cut out the chipboard and then I cover each side with paper. Now this paper actually on this one is from that Belle Vie collection from Julie Nutting, the Parisian one. It's that butterfly paper that I love. And what I did was I just picked out some laces from my stash to gift to Rina. And I tried to pick out some smaller ones and some ruffly ones because I know that she likes the small ruffled laces. And some of these have been in my stash for a long time. Some of them I used to carry in the shop, like this black one. I had like, oh my gosh, like hundreds of yards of this. And it all sold out and I couldn't get it again. But I still have some hoarded for myself. So I shared that with her. Some different little laces. These are some really pretty shabby ribbons that I had. And some more laces. And those are just all the different cards that I had. So then inside the box you can see it's covered with paper. Now for this I did use Fabri-Tac glue to adhere all the papers. And I love Fabri-Tac and the 3-in-1. I use both of them. The Fabri-Tac I make sure that I use when I'm adhering laces if I'm not using my hot glue gun, because it does hold fabric really, really well and it's a permanent adhesive. But both of these I really like because when I'm gluing down paper, it doesn't leave little bumps or anything, and it glues it down really, really well. And I've never had a problem with stuff like coming undone or anything when I've used this. So those are my glues of choice. And that is my box. Now the next thing I made, it's going to be really hard to film. I am going to take some pictures, so hopefully that will be better. But the next thing I made is a banner. And again, I'm sorry I can't really show all of it in frame. I'm hoping that you can see some of it. What I'll do is instead of cropping the video footage, I'll leave it wide on this part. So you'll see probably my pants, my sweatpants that I'm wearing. You'll probably see the arms of the camera, but I'll try to leave it wide so you can see all the pieces. So this is a banner that I made. I made it from scratch. I was going to go to Michael's to get, you know, like a pre-made banner thing. That way I could just cover it with paper, but when I was starting to make this last week, I was at the point where I had like $0 in my account because my paychecks over the summer are kind of funky the way that they're spaced out. I get most of them in the beginning and I'm not really good at budgeting. So all my extra money was gone. So I was like, okay, what do I have around the house that I can make into a banner? And I had just chipboard. So I went ahead and just cut out some different little pennant pieces of chipboard. And I knew that I wanted to make her a kind of a longish banner, so I wanted to use 5 pennants. And then after I did that, I realized, well, I could have used 4 pennants and spelled her name, but I had already decorated some. So I went ahead and used the word dream, which is one of my favorite words. So I hope that Rina also likes the word dream. I really like it. I'm always dreaming. I used to daydream a lot as a kid, and even well into high school and college. A lot of times I just zoned out and daydreamed about who knows what, but always daydreaming. So this is one of my favorite words. Again, I hope that she likes it as well. And they're not covered so much that if she really wanted to take out the letters or cover the letters, she could. Let's see, let me start over here. I did go ahead and cover each pennant with a lace border, so they all have different lace borders, and then on the back it is covered with paper so that wherever she hangs it up, even if you see the back, it will be finished. I started on this pennant and I covered it with just different layers of some of my favorite laces, and I have a little mini rosette here and some little flowers. On this one again I have more flowers. This is from Wild Orchid Crafts, all of these are. And then I have this little beaded flower, which is from Wild Orchid Crafts as well, and they had this a year or 2 back. I don't know if they still carry these. I also have some different applique pieces for my stash. These little leaves are actually cutouts from the Tea Time collection. And on this paper, you can really see it. I do have on all of the pennants, I have some stenciling, some modeling paste, and then I have the Dazzle Art Anthology dimensional paints. And I absolutely love using this stuff. And I do have this color and other colors in my shop, and I haven't used the other colors yet, but this one I absolutely love because it dries clear and you can see all that really pretty glitter. Between the different pennants, I've just tied them together using a chiffon ribbon and some different fibers and laces that I have. On this one, I have just lots of flowers. I did make like a little opening here with the paper, like I cut a V and then I pressed it back, and then I have like little flowers coming out. And then I covered it with lots of doilies, and I had that vintage lace in the background that I love, that I used on her card. And then I have just some different flowers here. On this one, I went ahead and used actually a couple of appliques and doilies that I had in my stash. And this zipper is from my friend Barbara. Hey Barbara. Barbara is the owner of Scrapbook Deals, the Facebook group on here, and she actually does local crops, and I've known Barbara for, gosh, it's been years now. We actually used to work together, and I used to teach classes at her different crops and things, and she's one of my best friends, and she still does crops, and she has like a little store that she sets up. Well, actually it's a pretty big store. She has tons of stuff, and I got this zipper from her, and I think one of the doilies, I think this doily was from her as well. And then on this pennant, I just have some different laces and flowers and things. I do have some pearl trim as well. I think I forgot to mention, but I did punch little holes in either side of each pennant, and then I put little grommets through them so that it just had a finished look, and that's where I tied them together using different laces and trims that they had. On the edge, I tied a longer, much longer strand of this pink ribbon, which, okay, I cannot use this pink ribbon on anything else until I make my wedding album. And I'm not even married yet. So whenever I get married and I make my wedding album, that's what I'm saving this for, because I only have like a couple yards left. And I used to have like 50 yards of this stuff, and I've used the heck out of it. So I'm not allowed to use it anymore until I make my wedding album. But I really wanted to use it on this project because I love this trim. I also used it to make a bow, and I just doubled it with this, I don't even know what this is. It's a roll of trim that I have that was found I got it in an estate lot, and so I doubled it to make the bows. So each side has a bow, and that's the banner that I made for her. So I really, really hope that Rina likes my projects. I hope that you guys like my projects as well, and if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to comment below. I don't always get back to my comments right away, especially now that school is starting. I'm going to start moving into my classroom next week, and in fact, when you see this video, I will probably already be in the process of moving in. So it normally takes me about a week. Sometimes if you've just left a comment and I happen to be checking that day, I comment that day, but sometimes it does take like a week or two. So I apologize for the delay, but I always read the comments and I so appreciate them. You can always contact me via message through Facebook, or you can message me at the shop, and I'm more than happy to answer questions or help with anything that I can. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Rina, I hope you love the projects, and it's been so fun swapping with you, and I am just really honored and excited to be able to own something that you've created, and I hope you like what I've made. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye. I just wanted to share real quickly what it looks like hung up. I was able to hang it up in my closet so I could take a picture,